Cool. Hello, everyone. Thanks for showing up today. I think it's been quite a while since we did a Discord community call AMA, so kind of wanted to take some time to connect with the community a little bit more, get out of the spaces for a minute, Twitter spaces, and get back onto Discord. Um, in case you guys don't know, I'm Equinox. I'm the head of marketing here at Fjord. Handle all oversee all operations regarding marketing, community, um, and several other aspects here. And basically, we just wanted to do an AMA today to kind of fill everyone in on how our recent LBP went with the FJO token and talk about what we have in the pipeline coming up for the future and some more recent product developments that we think are pretty exciting that we wanted to share with you guys. I'll for you guys who don't know, I'll pass it off to Voke to give a brief introduction of himself, what he's doing here at Ford, what he's done here, and then we'll pass to Yam and kind of get started from there.
Yeah, GM everybody. Basically in charge of strategy at Fjord. So trying to make sure we make the right decisions to kind of get the best outcomes. Keep it simple. Drop it off to Yams, and we'll start cooking this AMA here. Definitely want to get feedback from everybody in the community, so that's kind of my top priority right now.
Yeah, I work very closely with Equinox and both. I'm the head of BD here. Do a lot of outreach and specifically around external partnerships and parties. So it's good to kind of be able to understand where the community's at and be able to sort of connect that to what we're communicating to our external partners.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for that quick intro. Um, so just to get started, I know there's some newer people in the community here. We've had a lot of activity, a lot of exciting things happening recently. Um, Most notable is our big raise with our FJO token. But before we dive into that, I kind of wanted to give a moment to Vogue to kind of break down to the newer folk here what Fjord is. What is Fjord Foundry? What do we do here? What are LBPs? And kind of give a brief introduction around what we're all about here and why people are using the Fjord platform.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I keep it pretty simple. Always open for questions later on if anybody wants, to seek clarity kind of around the mechanisms. But keep it short and concise. Name of the game really at Fjord is to try to have community-led, fundraising events for projects, right? Trying to keep it as engaging as possible, making sure that there's as broad of a distribution as possible, and making sure that organic price discovery can take place, and all that's achieved through essentially the decay mechanism based on the weights that you set for your actual LVP.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that. We'll move on from here and just kind of, and like Vogue said, if you guys have any questions about Fjord, we'll have a AMA section at the end of this where anyone can come up on stage and ask questions about the project, about the team, about what we're working on, or anything else that you're curious about regarding Fjord and what we're all about here. So if you do have questions, you can drop it in the chat as well on the side. We'll be reading that. But so moving on to FJO, which is the Fjord's token. I wanted to pass it off to Yam to kind of give us like a brief overview of what this token is. How did the FJO LBP go? How much did we end up raising? Just give us a breakdown of FJO and its utility and what we have in store, post LBP for the community.
Right. So I want to preface this by saying that a lot of the exact tokenomic specifications are being finalized in terms of later utility we're rolling out, but at the baseline level, the utility as it stands right now is primarily. Most people in the industry, which is that it's going to drive direct value back to holders and stakers, long-time people that are aligned with the platform, that are participating in LPPs by holding and staking Bitcoin, by providing buybacks to providing that intense amount of buy pressure on the actual token. Fjord is one of the rare protocols in the industry that I think most of us have been able to do consistent high revenues over a long period of time, and we're going to put that to work, purchasing Fjord tokens back off the market to drive value back to holders. So in terms of future utility, we're exploring a lot of different things right now, but primarily what I think the leading interest that we have for like an additional piece of utility is providing effectively like a long-term consistent airdrops of all native tokens of projects that launch through the platform to stakers. As you know, we collect swap fees just through the nature of LPs. There's a high fee applied to the actual trading within the LPP. And so when people sell out of a pool, they're selling out of a native token, and a fee is applied to that. So that could be a potential source of native tokens. We're also communicating with teams and engaging things with them, being asked to provide a certain percentage of their native token as an airdrop to Fjord stakers in order to participate, or potentially as an incentivized method of getting fee discounts overall. So those are ways that we would basically be able to collect routine supplies of all native tokens of all projects that launch to us, and then they would be supplied as an airdrop to Fjord stakers. But I think those are that's really the leading, most attractive idea that we have at the moment, because obviously people want to get access to these new tokens, and what better way to drive additional value back to long-time token stakers than by allowing them to just get effectively sort of an airdrop farm that lasts into perpetuity, and to prevent people from kind of rushing in at the last minute and staking a huge allocation, planning an airdrop, and then selling. We're looking at making sure that things are time engaged. So we don't want to allow whales to dominate this token, grab a bunch of exclusive benefits, and then exit the ecosystem and harm everyone. I think we've seen a lot of that in past DAO structures, and that's one reason why I'm not trying to be a DAO, and why we're not going to employ those same mechanics. But again, right now, these exact specifications are being finalized, and a lot is still subject to change. In terms of how the LEP went, we raised a little over 15 million. It was, if I'm being honest with myself, a lot more than I had anticipated. I know many people were very bullish on Fjord. I was pleasantly surprised with the extreme demand response that we received. And I think it's a good indicator, sort of a proof within the market that the product Fjord has, as it stands now, is already under a lot of demand, and we're excited to bring forward numerous other product verticals, launch formats, and exclusive features that are going to make Fjord an even better place for people to raise capital and to do a whole lot of other stuff that we're going to get into a little later. Maybe not today, but soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian, for that excellent breakdown of FJO utility and what we have in store for the future, as well as how the LVP went. Yeah, we're super excited to see how things went. Super excited to see the demand and interest for the Fjord token, and really appreciate all the community support in the past and currently right now. It means a lot to us. So thanks, everyone. Really appreciate that. Moving on to more stuff that we have in store. We just launched Fjord version 2 V2 December 2023, and the end of December last year. So I wanted to pass it off to Vogue to kind of give us a little bit more of a breakdown of what Fjord V2 is, why it was a significant step forward for the Fjord product, and what kind of new functionality can users expect with V2, and any key milestones or objectives that we have that we're thinking of at the moment with V2 in mind.
Yeah, I mean, so V2 was basically complete overhaul of the existing kind of version 1 deployment. So generally speaking, just kind of made things way more optimized, more efficient. I think a lot of just in-app kind of functionality has been streamlined, improved. Users overall, I think, have a better, faster experience on it now. Additionally to that, a lot of different LBP types roll out with it, kind of doing that more or less in like a staggered approach, right? So like initially LBPs, kind of just standard buy and sell. We also added in like a buy only one. We have hard cap raises coming out, so you can view that as like once an LBP reaches, say $1 million, LBP will conclude. There's another one where we're gonna write up more on this for everybody to digest, like tranche LBPs, fixed price LBPs. We also have I mentioned it in the chat already. Solana is coming soon. It's currently being audited. I think the next 2 weeks, maybe a month max, should be good to go there. Another big one that's part of V2 was also the addition of zero collateral LBPs. So what that's going to allow is a lot of the time, projects that come to use an LBP, you still need, even though you're effectively able to leverage your existing capital by 99 times, you still have to provide collateral, even if you do 99.1, and a lot of times that can be a barrier for teams where they'd be better off starting at a much higher FTV to let it decay from there. So zero collaterals are going to completely remove that kind of hurdle for people. It's going to make it a lot more capital efficient. And I think in the long run, you're going to see just generally going to be a lot more flexibility for the parameterizations that teams can actually use to set up their LBPs and have them go live with that. I also think it's going to be pretty powerful when it comes to kind of getting a, I don't know, let's say revitalization of permissionless deployments for LBPs on Fjord. I'll take a break there real quick. Equinox, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, no, not really, but I guess one exciting new product feature that we just tested out over the last week or so that I think people will be pretty excited to use is this new LBP type, which is zero collateral LBPs. So basically, instead of having to provide initial liquidity for your LBP to get things rolling, use a synthetic token, and that way, just having that hurdle of trying to, launch a token through an LBP. Now there's a way to completely circumvent that with Fjord. So we just had our first pilot project, Perpex. They tested it out for us. Super appreciate them for kind of being the guinea pig. But yeah, I'm really excited about this new feature. I don't know if you have anything to add about this, folk, but just one of the many things on the roadmap that we're just continuing to deliver. Yeah, anything you have to add on that, folk?
No, I mean, I kind of mentioned it prior when I was kind of droning out, right? I think it's probably the most important update we have feature-wise for the LBP mechanism. It pretty much removes any and all existing capital inefficiency, and they were already, LBPs were already super capital efficient. Something more so now, pretty much maxed out, as good as it can get with that. So I think going from there, the only other thing would be just, as I was mentioning, having the different types of LBPs, different sale formats, etc., that can be leveraged additionally with zero collateral. So I think just going forward, you'll probably see a lot more adoption of all these differing sale types that projects can use.
Absolutely. Do you want to touch on a little bit like our plans moving forward as far as like chain expansion, different networks that we're looking to move to like in the very near future and in the next couple of months coming up?
Yeah, sure. So kind of hit on Solana already. That's probably like the most pressing one, I would say, and like most immediate one that's coming up next. It's already under audit. There will be one more audit conducted on it afterwards, but yeah, it's gonna be like our biggest and most meaningful, I think, chain deployment coming up here. Besides maybe Bearchain when they are live in the foreseeable future, hopefully. we'll be there as well. Can't wait to support that ecosystem. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, Say's another big one coming up for us as well. Takeo, Theta, Manta, Mantle, also cooking up. Basically, going to be on pretty much every chain that exists that has, at least in our eyes, a certain level of demand for it, right? Which is pretty easy to evaluate just based on how their overall uses and growth's going, or if they're just hotly anticipated.
Totally. Another one that's pretty exciting too is Fraxtal, which is Frax's chain that they're rolling out right now. We'll be the first capital raising platform on that chain, and that's kind of what we're hoping to do with a lot of these newer chains that are exciting that are popping up. We want to be the first one there, so that all the liquidity that is flowing through these new ecosystem is flowing through Fjord, and we're able to generate revenues and fees off of that and put that back towards FJO holders and stakers. So yeah, I mean, if you guys ever have any ideas or any intros that you want to bring to us for some new chains that are popping up that you think is exciting, we're always open to community feedback and love to hear from you guys. Love to hear your ideas. So if there's anything else, even if it's not related to new networks and things, always open to hearing what the community has to say. And if we think it's a valuable enough idea, we'll definitely run forward with it. We're kind of like, we have a lot of things in motion right now, planned for the future. A lot of exciting product updates and things like that we already have planned. But if you guys have any novel ideas or anything that you think is exciting that we should be considering, maybe it's not top of mind for us, let us know. Like we encourage you guys to get involved with Fjord, and basically we just want to work together to create the best project and the best community out there. Yeah, so I guess moving on, and kind of wrap things up. We had our LBP with FJO, and it was a big success for us. So we're really excited about that. FJO's now on the open market. We deployed on Uniswap, and the token is live, open to trade. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely encourage you to keep your eyes on it. We're going to keep delivering value to our community, and making sure we have the strongest and best product imaginable moving forward. Yeah, and I guess with that said, another thing to mention is we have just bought back and burnt over 90,000 FJO already. So buybacks are already live. We're not just LARPing about buying back and burning, like we're already doing it. And it's only been a few days since the LBP concluded, and we're already doing it. So I think that's pretty exciting news to share. And I think people do have some more questions about that kind of stuff. So we'll open it up to questions now. Anyone that wants to come up on stage, raise your hand. We'll pull you up here. And if you guys do have questions and maybe can't come up onto the stage, drop it in the chat on the right hand side of the stage, and we'll read them off.
You can check the stage permissions.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Disabled.
Yeah, let's see. Let me see what I can do.
No, Hemi fixed it.
Okay, legit. Hemi's the man. Always making sure things are going smooth around here. All right, so yeah, we were getting rugged on permissions, but if you couldn't raise your hand before, you should be able to now. So yeah, come up on stage if you want to ask some questions, please.
Yeah, and apologies if some questions were asked already in the chat. I've been trying to respond to them additionally, but if you ask something and I didn't get you, either type it or come up on stage.
Awesome. I can't read the name because I'm recording this, but someone with the name F F something is up
Yeah,
here. Yeah,
Can you
Phil.
hear me?
Yep.
Yep, GM, sir.
Okay, cool. I have two questions. The first question was, will you be tweeting when you will buy and burn the tokens? Because you told you already did that, but I didn't see anything on Twitter.
Yeah, so we basically are going to have the buy and burn effectively be kind of randomized, like around kind of 1 to 3 week TWAPs. We're planning on doing weekly recaps of the actual buyback and burn activity. So you have to stay tuned for those basically on like a weekly cadence. It won't be like a daily thing or like as it happens every time.
Okay. And the next question would be, I asked in the chat already. They told me you won't ever token gate.
Yep,
So
correct.
require FJO for these raising or for staking. It's always going to be open for other projects.
Yeah, so we don't believe in token gating. A lot of the other like more launchpad or typical launchpad services exist. They basically try and create like artificial demand for their projects by token gating, limiting the amount that you can contribute, stuff like that, right? Having that you have to basically buy into the platform first. Under the LBP model, it's really predicated on trying to get to the ideal of a fair launch as much as possible. That's really predicated on having as many people that want to participate have the ability to assess on kind of their own basis whether or not they want to contribute to any LBP that's ongoing. Part of the reason that helps a lot with that, of course, is the decay element that's kind of baked in as well. So they become demand responsive. You pretty much get organic price discovery throughout the duration. That's something that we're looking to keep kind of going. We don't want to stray too far from the LBP mechanism in that regard.
Okay, so the main revenue stream that the Fjord token is trying to get is by staking and the platform revenue.
Yeah, the breakdown in the simplest kind of fashion is going to be the swap fees and then the final raise amount per LBP. So that's kind of like the dual stream for it in this regard. Before we potentially work on some new verticals to introduce as well, product wise.
Okay, what's my questions? Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the great questions. Those are all good things. Looks like we have another person trying to come up here. Let's see if I can get him up here. Wagme Capital, what kind of questions do you have, good sir?
GG! Wagme Crypto, bro.
Let's go.
So
I have a question. What is next that you guys are going to release? Because I saw on the roadmap, April, you have layer 0, but is there anything else? Like, you guys are just focusing on that? Like, what else is there?
what do you mean, sir? Solana soon?
Solana, that's it?
You're not
I need more. I need more to leak.
Go get your breadcrumbs, okay?
Okay, thank you guys.
I mean, there's a million chains we list. There's the Solana, there's Say, there's I won't go into it, but go to the website and put the drop down with the listed coming soon chains, and then imagine all the projects from every chain that potentially could come. It's like 10 chains waiting for deployment at this stage.
That's dope. Another question though. Are you actually getting traction from the community actually bringing in deal flow? Or is that just you guys doing that work? You plan on promoting that more, like to have people actually incentivized to bring people to launch on the platform?
Yeah, there's a referral fee. So anybody that has a project they think would be interested or they want to bring forward the Fjord for potential LBP, there's basically a referral fee of 10% on the final Fjord take, right, between the 3% that's on the raise amount and then the 2% swap fees. So definitely keen to see anybody refer projects they think would want to use the LBP mechanism. More than down to work with the community on that one. In fact, encourage it.
Based. I'm gonna try to do that and get some monies. Send it.
Send it.
That was my favorite Twitter personality. Big fan.
Yeah, I love that guy.
It's over.
Anyone else want to come up and ask any questions? Great questions so far from everyone. Super appreciate that.
Yeah, feel free to type it as well. Of course, don't have to actually come up to the stage. If you're a shy boyo, I got you. I'll respond. I'm watching the text chat.
Someone's saying we should give the intern a raise. What do you think, Vok?
Nah.
Yeah, let's
Can't give a raise on 0, baby.
let's make him keep working for it.
Percent of users in each time zone. I unfortunately do not have any data on hand that I could answer that with. But if Andy's in the audience, he might be able to at least type out what he's seen on the metric side.
Yeah, Pat.
He'll probably know of anybody.
I don't know if he has it per time zone, but he definitely has a dashboard where we can see like by region. Let's see if we can grab that quick.
Staking should be good in, I believe, around the next month or two, most likely. Hopefully sooner. Right now we're prioritizing Solana, so that's kind of what is holding that up just a wee bit. How much in bio? So we just did, what is it?
90,000.
91,000, yeah, FJO. Just got burnt today. More to come. Pretty much never ending.
So Andy leaked some alpha on regions for page views on the website. So not directly users, but visitors. So that's you know, a little bit derivative of what the users should look like as well.
Will locked FJO be eligible for rev share from Fjord? I'm pretty sure. Last I heard from Zuff that it was going to be. If you're referring to the vesting Fjord, or I guess yeah. Let me get clarity on what you meant by locked Fjord in that respect.
Casper's asking, what's staking gonna look like, if there are any specifics yet?
So it's kind of a mix about how the revenue is partitioned, I guess, once staking's live. So you're going to see a degree go to basically giving stakers more FJO tokens that are bought back. There's going to be an LP component where it's going to go back into the LP, and then there's still going to be a portion burned. The exact split between those three are not codified just yet, and they will likely be subject to change right over time. Got to keep it dynamic, got to keep it responsive to what the market's actually doing at any given time, and what we should prioritize.
So yeah, one of the people that asked questions earlier, they're saying, I see you're very US oriented, but will you expand to Asian socials as well? Yeah, definitely. I know we already have a Chinese Telegram chat that's community ran and pretty active. But yeah, definitely want to expand our socials to other active communities out there, especially the Asian oriented folk out there. Definitely. Will we be able to stake our whole vesting NFT Sablier position?
I'm already the impression, yes. If Zuff's here in chat, he can probably answer with a greater degree of certainty since he's the one designing it. But from what I recall, that was going to be the case. I'll even give him a little ping real quick. If he's still around. I hope he is.
Will the airdropped vested FJO be claimable on other chains?
That should only be available on ETH, just because that's where the contracts are deployed for Sablier.
Totally. What's the token's total supply amount?
100 million max. Total technically changing now because burns are going. But for sake of simplicity, it's basically still 100 million because only 91,000 has been burned just now.
Staking has a lockup mechanism or a time-based multiplier.
Should be based on epochs. So there's a portion where if you're not staked in time, you could miss out. So you can say a time component technically.
Totally. And then kind of already covered this a little bit, but what are the perks of staking?
Yeah, so kind of depends on what else we expand in regard to if we want to add in like fee reduction for stakers on the platform. Yams already mentioned earlier doing kind of airdrops of other tokens that come through our platform, which we're a big one on. We're trying to find a good way to do that and set that up within our overall model for other projects that launch through us. The other component, of course, is that basically get to grow your ownership of the protocol. Once staking's live, that means that a portion of the FJO tokens that are basically purchased off the market again are going to go back to stakers. So those are kind of the main ones that are very near going live, and then future ones that are looking to be implemented on a utility basis.
Yeah. So when can we expect Solana Network to go live with Fjord? Do we have any time frame? So I mean, it's basically ASAP. I think we're working through like auditing the contracts right now, but yeah, kind of any minute now.
Audit.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, ASAP. Hopefully by the end of this month is what we're planning on. But yeah, I mean, as soon as possible is the best answer we can give. Where do I buy if I'm from? I think this is Indonesia. Pretty sure you don't have
India,
any sort
sir.
of India. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have any restrictions on where you can buy FJO, but you can just go to Uniswap. What's the real circulation of tokens right now? Dex Screener and Dex Tool show two different market caps.
Yeah, so the Dex Screener is the actual accurate, up to date regarding the circulating supply. So use that for now until other sites like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap or even like Dex Tools or other kind of tracker sites are updated. Right now, Dex Screener is the source of truth.
Yeah, we're working on updating these things out there, but just kind of takes a little bit of time for each of these projects to update our information correctly. Any possibility we see a separate section on the site for memes specifically? Yes, definitely. That's something we're working on right now. We kind of want to make sure we're keeping the more serious projects in one area and then memes in another. But especially like moving on to Solana, yeah, we're definitely going to have a separate section of the website for meme coins specifically. Can we expect the team to set up a Dune dashboard for revenue, buyback, and burn metrics? It's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if anything, Good Data Bad Guy, who is kind of the creator and manager of majority of the Fjord-related Dune dashboards, will most likely add that to the Fjord Foundry overview, I would expect. But I will ask him and see if he'll make a separate one dedicated to it or not, or if he's going to combine it to the overview.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that as well. Any bullish stats about Fjord, I'm all for it. I'll push for it. As a creator, can I trigger a custom function other than mint or transfer when investors buy?
Andy answered that in the chat.
Okay, cool. I'm just reading questions.
The question that you had for Zuff, he's available now. He just put something in the chat. Do you remember what the question was specifically?
I believe it was regarding staking, the timing mechanism behind it, like the epoch, etc. Whether or not it's locked, if there's.
I think it was if they were going to get revenues for the lock or something like that. If they're going to be access to straight revenues.
Well, yeah, I explained that component. So there's three main components once staking is live around what basically happens. So that's going to be, there's still an element of supply burn. There's an element of supply distribution back to stakers, and then of course there's you can kind of view it as, I guess, like compounding the LP more as well. So that's kind of like the three main mechanisms there.
The Sablier vesting, that was it. Typo,
Table
trip it up.
investing. Okay. Yeah. So
That's the
Zup, if you
question.
want to
So,
take that in the chat, please. Thank you.
Any plans for us to list on centralized exchanges?
Yes. Talking with quite a few in the background. We'll keep, community updated on that as developments progress.
So the FJO token itself will only exist on ETH.
So it's, if you want to view it this way, the source chain liquidity will exist on ETH, but going forward, it's going to become a layer 0 OFT. So you'll be able to use it across all layer 0 OFT supported chains. So like, I'm not sure exactly what version of the OFT they're going to have out by the time we're ready to do that. But if it's like, for example, on OFT v2 right now, like that means like you could even use it on like a chain like Aptos, right? So should cover all bases regarding that.
Someone's asking what the minimum buy-in on Uniswap is. I have no clue.
The minimum buy-in on Uniswap should be 0 because you can do whatever you want. So there's no minimum.
Right. Yeah, someone's saying what a time for our project to get launched. We're building on Solana. End of the month would work for us perfectly. Yeah, if you guys want to launch through Fjord on Solana once we have that out, just reach out to us, and we'll work with you guys to make a successful launch if we can. Can we confirm if the V3 pool is not deployed by us? There's a fee on that pool.
We only seeded liquidity on the Uniswap V2 pool, basically right before the LBP ended. So that V3 pool was not from us.
I'm just scrolling the questions here. If anyone wants to come up and ask questions too, happy to invite you guys onto the stage. Yeah, there's a big fake FJO airdrop. Can team please post an announcement about it? Yeah, I mean we'll put out some continuous stuff around this. We put out an announcement the other day. Like there's just a ton of impersonators now that we launched the FJO token. So yeah, just be safe out there. If it's not coming from our official Twitter at Fjord Foundry, if it's not coming from the Discord in here, if it's not coming from our website, just don't trust it. It'll be very clear if there's any sort of thing happening from us, and you won't hear it from any third-party sources. So just be careful out there. But yeah, we'll continue to make announcements around this just to keep people vigilant. Someone's asking if we can have more channels in Discord. Yeah, definitely. We are kind of working on updating our Discord right now, making it a little bit more conversational. We just added like a forum section recently that highlights all the information of the currently ongoing LBPs, and people can have discussions on those specific LBPs now. So that's one new thing that we added. But if you guys have any suggestions around new Discord channels that you think would be helpful for the community, we're all ears. And yeah, I think we're going to open like an off-topic channel here pretty soon, and some other things too. So yes. Will buy and burn wallet be doxed? I believe it already is.
Yeah, I mean basically, Fjord Treasury addresses the buy and burn wallet, so you can view it on chain already.
Yeah, looks like someone posts a link in there. Are the curators you use hired by your company or independent from Fjord Foundry? Yeah, someone answered that, but yeah, curators are independent. Will there be LBPs where the tokens are vested if they didn't already exist?
So we have Savalier integrated for projects to set up vested token like disbursement post LBP. But I also, I guess, maybe you can clarify if you meant like for like receipt based tokens or yeah, something like that. Just if you can clarify that for me, so I can better answer your question.
Is there a KOL round before the LBP?
Just the seed and the seed extension round.
Yeah, so if you want to look into a little bit more specifics on that, you can go to our docs. It's help.fjordfoundry.com, and there's a FJO token section, and it covers a lot of the details around FJO and the seed rounds before it and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so seed was at 20 million val. Seed extension 24 million val.
Yeah. Probably best idea if the team releases staking this month. I don't think we're going to be able to get around to it in April. Hopefully June. We'll push for that, but at the very latest, it's looking like July. What was the reasoning for doing the buyback and burn model over others for the majority use of the revenue funds?
I think it's largely the most accretive form of kind of value creation for holders.
Yeah, just focusing on continuously deflating the supply. Never go up is hopefully the outcome here.
Yeah, I mean, we're not token gating or anything like that, right? So we don't really need a lot of tokens in circulation. We just kind of need a starting point to go from there.
So that person earlier, to clarify about the LBP tokens being vested if they didn't already exist, they said all the LBPs I've seen have 100% TGE. So is there a possibility for the project to raise vested amounts that they can vest to the users right after?
Yeah, no, they can do that with the Savalier, or kind of the even like old school approach was to use like a receipt token. So like way back in the day, projects would raise like LBPs on like an A token, right? And later it would be converted to the actual native underlying token, stuff like that. Sometimes even, right, they would basically have them locked up for a period and they wouldn't see liquidity until the actual underlying native token was ready.
Yeah, so was it mentioned when the Solana launch is expected roughly, for those who came here late? Yeah, so we're hoping by the end of this month. We're pushing for it as soon as possible. So kind of any minute now. But yeah, I mean, I would say probably at the latest, 2 weeks into next month. But I think we're going to get it out much sooner than that. But we don't have any exact date on it yet. Follow-up question on the vested tokens. If this already happened, how did this affect the user count or the raise amount?
Yeah, so there were a few that used it. I would say, generally speaking, it's not going to have that big of an impact, but it did technically lead to less user participation, less raise amount. I mean, the general expectation is that for an LBP, participants are basically looking to not have any additional lockup time or anything like that, right? It basically serves as the lead up to the actual TGE, which most people are going to expect to be liquid for that.
Is our vision eventually to become a DEX or a token sale platform?
The DEX was definitely being thrown around just because we naturally have a really good kind of funnel to onboard liquidity to it via projects that are LBPing through us. Makes it actually a lot easier, I would say, to kind of compete for market share against even like existing exchanges like Uniswap. At the end of the day, though, it's kind of still being worked on. We'll see what we can do there. I could say, at least from my angle, not going to release the DEX unless it has like considerable performative gains over existing kind of like AMM infrastructure. So a lot to cook there, unfortunately, in the old research lab.
Will there be incentives for participating in LBP's weekly or monthly allocations to participants?
That would be depending on if we have basically whatever projects are LBPing through us to allocate a portion of their tokens for stakers. That would only be the way. Otherwise, there's no, like, Fjord doesn't do emissions or anything like that. To kind of like basically bribe for users.
Will there be a starter phase of sorts to the Solana launch before opening it up fully, like Eastside is now? If so, how will that tangibly look?
So we already have a lot of projects kind of in the backlog to launch once the Solana deployment's ready. So really, the lead up phase is just the fact that we're taking our time. We have 2 audits, one currently going on right now for it, and then another one will happen before we are actually 100% live for it. And as Equinox mentioned, kind of shooting within the end of month, maybe a little bit into next month kind of timeline for that.
Yeah, I mean, and we might do like if this is what you're asking, like a short phase of kind of testing, like with pilot projects, we might. But yeah, I'm not sure. Andy can kind of answer better on that.
I think the main thing going forward is, now that we're really good to go on the zero collaterals, is making sure that those are kind of leveraged, for majority of LBPs going forward. I think overall you're going to get better LBPs out of that for projects and on the user side as well.
Do you currently have any projects planned for the Solana network? If not, we would like to be the first project. We aspire to become part of the Fjord legacy in that regard.
Yeah, I mentioned we have. I'm not sure if it's increased from when I last heard, but there should be about 10 in the backlog for it. But more than happy to have your project come through as well. You can DM either me or Yams, and we can get cooking on that front.
Cool, guys. Thanks for all the great questions. We still have a few more minutes left here if people have more questions or want to come up. But yeah, appreciate all the great questions from the community. Yeah, thanks for all the support in the chat, guys. Appreciate your support and positivity for the project. Means a lot to us.
Yeah, appreciate everybody. Let me know if there's any other straggling questions. I guess more than happy to answer them. If anybody wants to come up on stage before we wrap it up, now's the chance.
So what's the staking ETA? We've covered this a few times, but at the earliest, sometime in June. At the latest, sometime in July, but as soon as possible is what we're shooting for. Yeah, when will staking go live? Just answer that. When 2 billion market cap? Soon.
Good morning again.
GM, welcome back.
Hello, I'm just thinking out loud here, and I just thought about it. Have you thought about the LBP mechanism for NFT projects like Ordinal?
Yeah, so we had it kind of made already on the V1 for Fjord. Didn't get much use. It could be just because kind of when it came out last cycle in regards to market timing, NFTs kind of fell off massively. Getting it deployed for Ordinals would definitely be quite the endeavor, but there's definitely a lot of demand on that side. So I think it's something we would consider to do, but for right now, it would not be a top priority. Just because at least for how things are going right now, just being on a lot of different chains, having that coverage and servicing kind of more traditional like token based LBPs are kind of our bread and butter, and have just kind of been where we're the most successful at.
I understand. Okay, was just a guideline. Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Win, Barachain, Fjord, LBP.
Anybody else feel free to drop a question or come up on stage. Got about 3 minutes left. Of course, could always go over a little bit if people really need anything to get answered. More than happy to elucidate those questions.
So are we doing buybacks weekly?
Yeah, so basically the cadence for buybacks is going to be kind of between a 1 to 3 week TWAP. So, sometimes they'll happen multiple times within one day. Maybe sometimes they'll happen spread out across the whole week. Got to keep it pretty much variable in that regard. No front running, okay?
Win, Barachain, Fjord, LBP.
Whoa. That was asked to home, okay? Not me. I can comment that, yes, quite a lot of Barachain native projects are in the pipeline. Very stoked to get their LBPs cooking.
Yeah, we love the Bears. Yeah, sorry, we are having some issues. It sounds like people hearing us on mobile. So buybacks are planned to last forever or until staking goes live. Or do they drop to 33% in splits?
Yeah, so once staking is live, the ratio between like how the buyback amounts allocated will change, and it's going to be pretty much flexible over time because at certain points it's not going to be worth compounding LP with it, or it's going to be better to burn more tokens, or it's going to be better to distribute more tokens, etc. So just keep in mind that there's basically 3 main features to the buyback once staking's live. That's the LP component, the token distribution back to stakers component, and then of course the burn. And we'll make sure to keep the community updated on kind of like how those ratios are changing over time.
Cool, guys. Well, we just got 1 minute left. Great questions. If you guys continue to have more questions that pop up, you can always ask us in our general chat, or if it's something more nuanced or you want to keep it like a little bit more private, you can always open a support ticket. But yeah, I mean, we love to hear from you guys. So drop questions anytime. And we have like the best mods in the industry. They'll like get back to you so quick and help you out with whatever you need. So if we're not in the chat ourselves, they'll be there to help. When focus on building actual FJO community, most of the time it's just projects launching and people joining asking about them.
Well, sir, that's exactly why you have a token. That pretty much is the main way to create a community and resolves that issue that Fjord had, where there wasn't really a, let's just say like native community for Fjord. A lot of it was relying upon just the projects going through doing LBPs, right? So you have your little passerbys to take place. They come from the other projects. One of the main reasons, even why there is a token is to facilitate that, right? That community kind of growth for Fjord.
Yeah, and to add onto that, that's a big reason why we're hosting an AMA in the Discord today instead of on Spaces, and it's already been great to do this. We're getting way more questions and interest from the community in here versus on Twitter, so we are going to start spending a lot more focus on the actual community in here. We also just created a Telegram community, like an official Telegram community for Fjord. So we'll have support on that end as well, which we haven't in the past. There are several other like community ran international communities as well. So we'll be, supporting them also. And like I mentioned earlier, we have we're kind of doing an overhaul, and we just did kind of a big audit on the Discord, and we're looking at ways to improve the way that people can communicate in here, and we'll be having more like actual community activities. We'll be doing more educational stuff within the community as well, and as far as I think the question was something around are we going to do marketing to actually focus on FJO, the token. Definitely we're already kind of starting that. We just got listed on CoinMarketCap today, so announcement will go out on that later. And yeah, I mean we're just gonna anything really we can to like continue to bring awareness to FJO. We're going to there's going to be a lot more educational content around LBPs, both here in the Discord and on Twitter, and then a lot of education around our product and things that are upcoming. Like we're going to be blasting a lot more content moving forward, just to make sure we can capture mind share and educate people on all the great stuff that we're doing inside the community here on Discord and beyond. We also have integrations planned with some pretty awesome players in the space, and that's an ongoing effort for us. So we're just going to continue to expand, continue to make great strategic partnerships and integrations with things that makes actual sense, not just partnerships for partnerships, but partnerships for actual good purpose. Is the 30 million revenue for Q1 will be buyback, or will it start after the LBP?
That's just the annualized rate.
Yeah. So I think Q1 we did 7.5 million in revenue. So that 30 million revenue figure is just an annualized projection. Is the team reaching out to possible curators, or does one reach out to Fjord?
I mean, it's both, to be honest. A lot of times they get referred to us. Other times they apply for to be a curator. Wagman Crypto dropped the link already under the contact form. So if you think anybody would be a good curator, you want to try and be a curator, etc., feel free to reach out. Once again, also, if you have any projects that you know of that might be interested in LBPing, definitely reach out as well. Get the referral fee for that.
Cool. Well, yeah, we're a few minutes over, but yeah, happy to stay and answer some questions. But I think we're gonna wrap this up in just a minute here. Yeah. All the revenue from platform for buybacks. 90% is the answer on that. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Thanks again for coming out. We appreciate everyone that came out, stayed the whole time. The attendance was pretty solid here. Everyone just stayed and listened. So definitely appreciate your time with us and giving us attention, asking us all these great questions. Pretty much anything you guys asked, I think a lot of other people are thinking the same things, wondering the same kind of questions in their heads. So yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for coming out. As I mentioned earlier, if anyone has any more questions, just drop them in the general chat, drop them here. We'll try and answer them as time allows us. And yeah, we're just really excited to keep building and growing with this community. Yeah, love you guys.